again, my lovely seekers and finders. Welcome to the Way of Truth number 59. My name is Artem Boytsev. If you are new here, I'm a non duality teacher and I live in San Francisco Bay Area. I teach the path to liberation through a combination of meditation, compassionate presence, direct transmission, and inquisitive inquiry. I host meditation retreats and integration retreats, and I also see students at my home. So we have the next retreat on October 3rd to 6th. Unfortunately, it is full, but we are planning to do another retreat this winter in Costa Rica. I also see students over video and text, so I offer support over WhatsApp and also in the video conferences. If you're local to me, you can come visit me in my home. So this is a website that contains a large array of my writings on the topic of spiritual awakening, the nature of reality, the nature of the ego. And it also contains information about our retreats and how to schedule a video session with me. We primarily in our practice focus on accepting the emotion experience because in my practice and in my experience, it is the most important stumbling block to awareness naturally revealing itself. Forget the word. Revealing itself. So a true nature effortlessly revealing itself. One of the major blocks is the resistance to emotional experience, resistance to feeling. So that's what we major focus on, and we focus on it both before self-realization and after. So in these bi-weekly meetings, these bi-weekly satsangs are an opportunity for my students to ask questions, to share their experience also. So we share our experience, we share our understanding, we discuss. They are open meetings, so it doesn't matter if you're my student or not. You can come and have a conversation. So if you do choose to do that, by far the best way to participate is to participate live. I will post a link right now. So this is the link. This event is being broadcasted on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And I just posted it to both Facebook and YouTube. And this is a link which you can follow in order to join. So StreamYard is a browser-based software. All you need is a browser. If you follow this link, you will be able to join the conversation. I will see you in the guest room, and I'll be able to bring you on screen, and you can ask a question or share your experience or share anything that you want, and we can discuss it. If for whatever reason you don't want to do that, then you can post your comments to Facebook, or you can post your comments to YouTube. YouTube is probably better. So I'll see them. I'll be able to bring them on screen and address them. So that's what we do every couple of weeks here. I also have a Discord platform. It's a wonderful community. We have a lot of wonderful people there in different stages of unfolding the dream and different stages of a spiritual journey. So if you're struggling, if you have had a spiritual awakening, or if you're a seeker, if you want a supportive community devoted, deeply authentically devoted to truth and love and supporting each other and investigating what's true, then please, I'm also posting a link right here so you can join my Discord community. We also make announcements there. We make announcements of upcoming retreats there, and I am present there too from time to time. I chime in. So yeah, that I guess that's it. And so I don't have any guests in the guest room right now. If you're watching, please follow this link again. If if you wish to speak to me. So when this happens, I usually look at the. Okay, so we have a question. So when this happens, I usually look at the channel. There's a specific channel in this Discord community which is called Question for Artem, where you can post your questions and I address them. So I'll do that in a second if we do not have any guests. But right now we have a question submitted to YouTube. So I usually give precedence to people who show in person. Then I give precedence to questions that are submitted to YouTube, and then if I don't have any of those, then I look at the backlog of the question from Discord. So right now we have a question, and I'll address it. Just a second. So White Red is asking, is merging what happens when the ego melts into the body? I had a weird experience where it literally felt like the mind was uniting with the body. Beautiful, wonderful. So you can put it this way if you wish. You can also say that merging is unifying the mind. So the ego is a very small part of the mind. And it could feel like something small merges with something huge, with something infinite, even. So, ultimately speaking, the mind and the body are one. There is no body other than what the mind perceives, and there's no perception that is outside of mind. So, even the way that you perceive the body is through the nervous system, and the nervous system covers every inch of it. So your perception of the body and the mind and the brain are one and the same. You can also describe the process as merging of ego into consciousness. So some people would say the ego, the small wave, merges into consciousness, the ocean. Some people would say it's a unification of the mind. Some people would say it is merging self with the body. Both of those, either three of those descriptions are okay. The most fundamental in all three of them is the feeling of merging. Is the feeling of merging back, is the feeling of unification, the feeling of coming back home or dissolving into something greater that has always been there and that feels like home. So regardless of how it feels, what you're merging into, it is good. So it is good. So every time you have this experience, just surrender to it, enjoy it. It's a beautiful coming home. So definitely, the complete enlightenment is the unification of the spirit, body, and mind. So both of them, there is no separation between either three of them. So one thing to be said about the body, though, is that we are very much disconnected on the level of direct experience from the bodily sensation of the dream state. So that's why in the spiritual path and on psychedelics also, or after meditation, you notice how things become more beautiful, how the bodily senses become more acute and more pleasurable, how you start feeling things in your body that you haven't felt before. These are all a consequence of this filter, which is the constant fixating of attention on thought, falling away. And so it is a very bodily process. It is a very physical process. Actually, the spiritual transformation is a very physical transformation. So you will feel many things that you haven't felt before. You will feel connected to the body in the way that you never thought even possible before. You will finally realize yourself as a living organism, as the body, rather than the thinker in your mind, which is much closer to reality. And so from this perspective, it's completely normal to have this description that you put it. So the body is a big part of this process. That's actually why the most direct path to liberation is through the body. The continued fixation on thought is allowed by and emphasized by our rejection of the bodily sensations that we find unpleasant. So it's a very bodily process. Okay, so you continue. You said, I also had an experience where the world was moving in a sense and felt alive. I guess this is the filter. The second part is certainly not. You know, the world is alive in a sense. Consciousness is life itself. Everything that you can experience is aliveness because you are alive and you are consciousness experiencing yourself. You're a human being experiencing yourself. So the feeling of aliveness, how everything comes to life, how everywhere you look, there is life. Everywhere you look or touch or hear, everything you hear, there's aliveness everywhere. It is home. You see, you are life itself. You are sentience. So everything in your experience is alive. You can say the rock is not alive, and that's fine. But the image of the rock, how you perceive the rock, whether you look at it, you hear it, or you touch it, is you. It is aliveness. It is an experience of a human being. So the sensations, the feeling of sensations, where everything comes alive, whether everything is moving or breathing, that's a different kind of. Yeah, it has a different quality to it. So many people, myself included, have experienced this kind of the sensation of continuous movement in the visual field on psychedelics or after meditation. The exact, I'm not sure about the exact nature of it and why it happens, but I can tell you from my experience that it corresponds to the feeling of deeper aliveness. And as I went deeper and deeper in the spiritual path and the aliveness was integrated more and more, I have started experiencing less and less of those direct visual hallucinations. So if you're talking about the world moving as a direct visual hallucination, then it's probably something temporary. But the feeling of aliveness is not, because you are life itself. So the spiritual journey is the journey from the ego, which is just the narrator of your lived experience, into becoming life itself, into the lived experience itself. All right, so I hope that okay, Klaiko. Hi, Klaiko. It's been a long time. You are saying, I am very whole and content in my experience every day. That's wonderful. I feel little to no suffering. Beautiful. I don't seek and I am content most of the time. Yet I wonder if there are deeper states of consciousness. Yeah. So the answer to, I always answer the questions like this, the same way. If you wonder if there's a deeper state of consciousness, then there is. It's just as simple as that. Uh, um, it's great that you have arrived into a place like that. It is beautiful. Uh, if you have to wonder if there are deeper state of consciousness, then there are certainly there are certainly states of consciousness that are even more devoid of suffering than what you're currently experiencing. It does not mean that they will be different in some sort of a fundamental way. In fact, if you want it to be different in some sort of fundamental way, then it is itself suffering. And you will realize that the desire for it to be different in some fundamental way is in some way also rejecting the experience of a human life. So you might have spiritual experiences or psychedelic experiences where it appears to be different in some fundamental way, only later to realize that it was just a fantasy, and it was needed to point to some remaining dissatisfaction. Or maybe you already understand that it's not going to be different in some fundamental way, but it's going to be even more profoundly beautiful, even more profoundly joyful, more peaceful, with even less suffering, with more enjoyment of the raw reality of the senses, with more enjoyment of every second of life. When you say that you have little to no suffering, it's also important to understand or be more precise about what exactly you mean by suffering. So a lot of people, when they attain this state, define suffering as seeking, right? So when you say that I feel little to no suffering, it may be equivalent to I either don't seek, or I seek very rarely, or I see through seeking very quickly. The interesting thing about it is that seeking is actually the tip of the iceberg of suffering. So the seeking falls away long before the suffering falls away. You can think about seeking as the most obvious and kind of it's hard for me to find the word that I want to use. So the most kind of obvious manifestation of suffering, the pinnacle of suffering. Yeah, you can think of seeking as the pinnacle of suffering, right? Because we're always seeking ourselves. So if we're seeking, then we're deeply confused about what we are. But actually, interestingly, suffering goes way deeper than seeking. So suffering is also all unresolved trauma. Suffering is grief. Suffering is any kind of resistance to life. So when seeking drops, what we experience when seeking drops is in an extraordinary deeper amount, in an extraordinary lower amount of resistance to everything that we feel. So we learn to welcome. We learn to not reject or resist any experience, and especially negative experiences, negative emotions, maybe some difficult energies that come up with in the body. Some people start feeling other people's suffering. We become more attuned to the suffering of the world. We stop looking away. We stop looking away from our suffering. We stop looking away from the suffering of other people. So that in itself can be described as the end of suffering. But a deeper truth is the degree to which you perceive an emotional experience as unpleasant is the degree to which you are resistant to it. So a deeper and deeper diminishment of suffering corresponds to a deeper and deeper enjoyment of all emotional experience, of all experience of what it's like to be a human being. And so, uh, as we accept, as we learn to accept everything that happens inside of us more and more, paradoxically, it starts coming up less and less. And with that, the enjoyment and contentment and the beauty of the sensate experience continues to improve, continues to flower. Love continues to flower. Compassion continues to flower. Understanding of other people continues to improve. Understanding of yourself continues to improve. So, oh, actually, you commented, you said, thank you, I understand. I'm often tempted to say experience no suffering at all, but say little to no suffering because I don't want to be ignorant of what may lie ahead. Then pleasantness in any shape or form, you asking, there's a subtle unpleasantness in some emotions, but I always have the instinct to look, and most of them are pleasant. Yes, generally speaking, the unpleasantness in any shape or form, uh, especially when it comes to the situations uh, it where it's clear that it's arising from the past. So let's say a long meditation, uh, a psychedelic experience, like watching TV, uh, conversing, reacting to world news, conversing with other people in the situations where it's not violent or threatening, hearing someone's opinion about yourself, getting into a conflict with somebody, right? So uh, I'm talking about verbal emotional conflict, not physical violence. So generally speaking, an unpleasantness in any shape or form, because in the examples that I listed right now, uh, the only source of unpleasantness is unresolved past, or some beliefs in your psyche about yourself which still have not been uncovered and dropped, which is kind of the same thing. So the most important part for you is that you say that you always have the instinct to look. So that is the most important instinct. So the instinct to look away is what we drop first in the spiritual path, and then it becomes our second nature to investigate, because it is our own experience. There is no reason to argue with it. So if you have this automatic kind of, if you feel something that you don't very like, if you have this automatic instinct to look into it and to become closer to it rather than run away from it, then the rest is just a matter of time. So, and is there a state which is even more devoid of unpleasantness? Is there a state which is even more blissful and beautiful and enjoyable when it comes to raw senses? If you intuit that there is, then there is. And you can also you can do a few things to see and to move yourself further into this direction. One is long-term meditation. Another is psychedelic medicine, but kind of start slow and be responsible. You can also come to our retreats and see what comes up there. So there's quite a lot of things. I mean, I myself was shocked with the degree to which the human mind is conditioned to suffer. So it took me a very, very, very long time to get to a place of really quiet mind and equanimity. And I still, from time to time, cry out of compassion for other people, or I pretty much never get angry or even irritated, but the tears still come. not very frequently, but they still do. And so I would say that the changes in the recent years became very subtle and small, but it's still somehow, even though in the first 2 3 years I used to cry every day. Now I cry like maybe every once a week or once every couple of weeks. But even though if I compare how I feel now to how I felt 2 years ago, I still find some difference. So it's a long process of it, but don't let it be discouraging, because it's actually good. It's actually good because just like the depth of suffering is tremendously underappreciated and is hard to fathom in the separated state, but so is the depth of containment, so is the depth of bliss, so is the depth of love, so is the depth of peace. So so it's a great thing that it goes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. uh, okay, you say, I appreciate you a lot, Artem. Well, thank you. I've watched you. Someday in the future, maybe in the far future, I'd love to come to a review. Absolutely, we'd love to have you when it fits more with my work and my real situation. Yeah, yeah, totally. All right. So we have. Thank you for the comments, Glyco. So we have. Uh, I don't have any more comments, but we have a guest. So we have Anton. Anton, are you ready? Hi, Anton.
Hi, do you
Hey.
hear me?
Yep.
Do you good?
How are you doing?
And you? Since some internet
I stopped
connection
hearing you.
problems.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, I stopped hearing you.
Maybe do you hear me now? Hmm.
Can you say one, two, three?
One, two, three.
Yeah. Well, I can hear you somewhat. There's a delay between video and audio. But what did you want to talk about, or what did you want to ask?
And to abide in the self and I am, is that just putting our awareness on awareness? Is that
Y-
that?
Can you repeat that, please?
To abide in the self and I am, is that putting awareness on awareness?
Okay, I see. You can put it this way. Yes, you can say that to abide in the I am is being aware of being aware. Here's the thing, though. If we put it this way, then we also have to say that complete enlightenment is much deeper than I am. Because you see, uh, awareness, generally speaking, well, not just generally speaking, I don't have to say generally speaking, awareness, the true awareness is effortless. So you don't have to put any effort to come back to it. If you have to put any effort to come back to it, it means that there is something in the experience of a human which is uh, taking your attention away from it, which is kind of uh, grabbing your attention and making the effortless awareness veiled or invisible for some time. And this is always pain. This is always pain from the unresolved wounds. This is always pain from the past. So yes, once you discover the awareness, once you discover the I am, you can say, well, great, for as long as I uh, keep reminding myself that I'm awareness and I am aware of my awareness, I am happy and content. And that's true. But then you continue living your life and something happens, some old wound resurfaces. And if at that time you, instead of giving it proper attention, instead of investigating it, instead of I muted you because there's an echo. Instead of accepting it as a part of your experience rather than trying to run away from it, you you continuously remind yourself that you are awareness and this is not you, then you're actually never going to resolve it. The practice of being, the practice of recognition that the emotions, thoughts, and everything that takes your attention away from awareness are not you, and they come and go, and they all temporary. So whatever arises must fall. This practice of recognition is important to discover awareness itself. But once the awareness is discovered, the true job of awareness is to heal the human. The true job of awareness is uncovering everything that still hurts the human and transcending it and healing it. You see? So, so my advice, once you have discovered the awareness, to people to have discovered the awareness, my advice is don't try to maintain the awareness. Don't try to continuously maintain the awareness. Don't try to remind yourself that you are awareness. You will notice that you try that in the moments when it's difficult. In the moments when it's easy, you don't have to try it, right? So instead, become intimately curious about what are you feeling, because the direction of awareness is the application of awareness is also the application of the focus of your attention. If you don't try to shift the focus of your attention from anything uncomfortable into something neutral, including the awareness itself, after the discomfort is accepted, the awareness will naturally reveal itself again. Does it make sense?
Okay, actually, my attention is very much up in the mind, and I'm kind of, what the fuck?
So if your attention is mostly in the mind, then it means that there's some repetitive thought process in the mind. So the mind serves as a kind of a refuge, right? So there's a repetitive thought process in the mind. You're thinking about something repetitively. When you notice it, a good practice for you would be to ask at this point, what am I feeling in my body? And then take attention from the mind into the body. That expands awareness because it makes you to feel aware of something other than the thought process. You see? So
It's
basically,
more like
what's that?
it's more like streams.
Streams of thought.
It's no kind of electric. It's not much thought. It's just up in the head.
And it's not much thought.
Yeah,
So then what's in the head then?
pain,
Pain,
tension,
tension.
ten-
So
tension.
so tension somewhere inside your skull, basically.
Yeah, very much.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that's normal, unfortunately, and I have suffered myself. I'm muting you again. So, and I have suffered myself from lots of pain, tension in the head, and including migraines. And so, uh, my best advice is when you meditate to keep the focus of your attention on this tension itself. So the tendency will be to try to relieve the tension or to try to look away from it. Uh, what needs to happen instead is try to get as close to this tension as possible. So give this tension your attention. Look at there directly, like try to look into it, into the source of it, into the center of it. The pain might even exacerbate uh, for some time. So don't try to run away from it, but get closer and closer to the pain itself, to the tension itself. You will probably uh, it may take some time, but you will but if you do it for long enough, there will probably be some release that comes together with the emotion experience. You might cry, for example, out of compassion for yourself or out of pain, and there might be some release. So look into the center of the tension, into the very center of it.
I kind of have no choice. It's just have decided it will be up there.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So we have another guest, and his name is Simon. Hi, Simon. Oh, sorry. I cannot hear you. I haven't muted you, but I cannot hear you. Nope. No sound. Nothing. Nope. No. Okay, well, why don't you take a look at it? So maybe you can rejoin, look at your settings, and I will do a very quick interlude as usual. So first of all, I would like to ask anybody who's watching to like, comment, and share this video, and subscribe to my channel. So the more subscribers we have, the more likes we have, the more comments we have, the more likely somebody who needs my guidance, who can resonate with what I'm saying, who could benefit from reading my writings or coming to my retreats, the more likely they are to find me. Unfortunately, I'm very difficult to find. The people who do find me and who do resonate with what I'm saying are usually very, after some time, very happy and very grateful, and it really helps them a lot. But I'm very difficult to find. So if you could like and comment on this video, it would be helpful to me. So also don't forget to subscribe and click this bell button so that you're notified when we release new videos. Secondly, another thing that I would like to ask you is that if my talks and if my writings, if they touched your heart, if they helped you, if they clarify something for you, if you benefited from my teachings, please consider supporting me on Patreon. So to those of you who already do that, I'm very grateful. Thank you very much. So this is all that I do. So it's somewhat challenging to pay my bills with the current level of income. So it's actually not somewhat challenging. It's impossible. I'm living mostly off my savings from my career at IT at Google. So if you could support me on Patreon, I would be very, very grateful. It doesn't have to be much, it can be $20 a month, $10 a month. Even if you are living in a relatively poor country, you can probably afford like $1 a month or something like that. So if you could do that, I would be very, very grateful. If you want to contribute more substantially, then we also have a nonprofit organization. So it's called True Freedom Teachings. It's a fully registered California nonprofit. So your donation would be tax deductible. Just contact me via Discord or email or any other way, and I will tell you how to do that. We will also provide you an IRS compliant receipt. It's a fully legal, non-deductible donation. Our first priority is for us, my wife and I, to be able to pay our bills, and in the future, we plan to build a retreat center, and also where we would live and see students the whole year around, and also your donation will also help me to be able to work with people who cannot afford to pay anything at all. So a significant portion of my students cannot afford anything at all. And so finally, I would like you to. I would like you. Let me send the link. So for supporting me on Patreon, I'll send the link. Here's the link. It's on my website. And now, finally, if you wish to schedule one-on-one meeting with me, then please use this link. So it's a Calendly link. We have different tiers for people with different incomes. If you really financially struggling and you cannot afford to pay anything at all, there's a free option, then the $25 option. So scheduling one-on-one meetings also help me financially, but more importantly, the value that I can provide for you. So there's a variety of techniques that I employ, starting from guiding meditation to general advice about practice, and then ending with radical inquiry. So where we do an inquisitive form of dialogue and seeing what arises in your consciousness, and to uncover the irrational, hurtful, painful, unloving, self-rejecting beliefs that you might still have. It's usually an emotional process, but it moves people forward quite significantly oftentimes. So if you've never had a meeting with me, please be free to schedule one. What also often happens is that people are getting somewhat anxious or hesitant to schedule a meeting with me. And if this is your case, please do not worry. It usually goes away within like the first 10-15 minutes. So we just breathe through it. So if you are very if you are going through the period of your spiritual journey where there's a lot of fear and anxiety, the prospect of having a one-on-one with me may appear very scary, but it's an illusion. It's actually an illusion, and most people who do that do not regret it. So, all right. So Simon is back, and thank you very much for listening to this. Okay, Simon is back. Let me try this again. Hi, Simon. What about now?
Now you can hear me. Perfect.
Hi.
How you?
Good, thank you. Want to pee? That's the problem. But
sorry, what?
No, nothing. I just said I'm good. I just want to pee.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to share my experience. So
Please.
I was having a fight with my mind today, and I only realized like 2 hours ago. But here it's late now. So
who won?
Me. I
Good.
won. My mind. But the thing, because I'm also very strict on myself with like focusing and this keep being aware, not let any thoughts happen, which is stupid.
Oh, no, don't try to do that. That's a big mistake.
I know. I mean, yeah. What do you mean? Yeah.
Try and I know that because I've done it. like having this idea that what you need is to clear the mind of all thoughts, and then trying to come up with a method. So whenever like you hear some thought, oh, focus on being aware. Like
Yeah.
this actually doesn't work. This because you see, when this is happening, you are basically just trying to redirect your attention onto an artificially constructed object in your mind, which is awareness.
It's a fight, it's a battle, and it hurts physically also.
Yeah, don't try to do that. You see, never try to stop the mind. It's the violence of the mind. It's the continuation. You see, the ego has this idea that it needs to be or appear a certain way in order to be happy, and this idea penetrates itself into spirituality, where you try to kind of create a certain conscious experience for yourself. So you have this idea that the mind should be blank, and and that's actually very harsh towards yourself. You see, there's let the thoughts be, let thoughts come and go as clouds. There is a reason for thinking. You see, there's a like for example, tell me what your thoughts are about.
Now in the evening, I hear it's
No,
evening.
not now. The ones that you try to stop.
Oh, just letting go and letting my mind wander and imagine it, like random stuff. I don't know.
Wonder about what?
And it actually, in the moment when that starts happening, it actually feels pleasant. And then I am still like, no, come back. So
when does it start feeling being not pleasant?
Immediately. And then I'm like in the morning. Usually I do some practices, and then after the practices, I just feel some coldness and some harshness, and I'm wondering, what am I doing wrong? But it took me the day.
Harshness about what? About you not about your mind thinking too much?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm being harsh on myself.
Exactly. You see?
Yeah.
So your mind starts wandering, and there's immediately self-judgment of like, oh no, but it shouldn't. You know?
Right.
But I shouldn't be. Like, it shouldn't be happening in this.
Yeah. And now
I'm doing something wrong.
Right. That's how I feel.
And that's the self-judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're failing somehow.
Yeah.
Right?
It's yeah. Yeah.
And so this self-judgment will also manifest somehow on the level of the body. As the feeling of anger towards yourself, for example, or feeling small, or feeling like a failure, or some grief or sadness. And that is the experience that I want you to take a look at. So what, like, whenever you acknowledge that this is what's going on, leave the thought process alone. Even if the mind start telling you what a spiritual failure you are, just leave it alone. Don't try to shut it up, but look at, take attention directly into how your body responds to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a lot of harshness in it. There's a lack of self-love and self-acceptance in it.
Yeah, I felt a little uncomfortable before coming on, but then I was like, to heck, like I want to just go with it and feel it, and it feels uncomfortable even now, or even before,
Where?
In the chest area.
Okay.
Actually, it's like because I feel like the whole day I've been fighting with my mind, but before, like an hour before you started, that I was doing meditation, and then I got like some sensation back, and my stomach especially was feeling like butterflies, but not in a good way. Like,
That's just anxiety. That's just fear.
oh,
That's
right.
all it is.
So, and then when coming on here, because now I'm facing some situation, I feel it more like just like vibrating. But I know it's because it's sensibility. It's a good thing, actually.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's look at it together. So let's just spend a couple of minutes in silence. Let the mind say whatever it wants, but take the focus on your attention into the feeling of tightness in your chest.
Okay.
Just feel this tightness there. Become interested about it. Get closer to it. Don't wish for it to go away. But become interested in it.
Yeah, I feel like the more I do it, the more I can see how there's nothing to fear or be afraid of. It's actually not something bad.
Yep.
It's completely neutral, but
Yeah.
and it feels also liberating. So actually, it's not neutral; it's positive.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And even if you even if it sort of doesn't develop into anything for quite some time, if you don't wish for it to go away, if you're not looking with this ulterior agenda of I want you gone, that after a certain time it will start moving. It will either dissolve or it will morph into something else, maybe beyond this tightness, maybe sadness will appear or something else. You will see how it just moves and mutates and morphs and flows, and all of this is completely acceptable.
Mm-hmm. But I'm wondering, is this gonna stay, or is it? Do I feel this because now we're like talking, or or can I do this alone when
You
I'm?
can do this alone. It's just that when you do this alone, it would probably feel more. It will probably take more time for it to manifest. But I would be extremely surprised, right? So if we're talking, like, for example, right now you're speaking in public, you're speaking to me, so there's some, we can say trigger, but I'm almost confident that if you meditate for long enough, right? If you meditate, let's say for 3 hours or 2 hours, or I don't know how long you meditate, but if you meditate for long enough, the same familiar tightness will sooner or later also show itself. Because it is fundamentally what it is connected to fundamentally is some insecurity, is some lack of self-love, is some fear of being judged by others, right? So when you engaged in others, especially with a teacher, especially in a public way, then it very easily comes up, you see. But if you meditate for long enough, because it is fundamentally coming from the past conditioning, because it's fundamentally coming from the internalized judgments of others, then it will also reveal itself. And behind this tightness, there are usually sadness, grief, tears, or anger. Usually both.
They go very close together.
Yeah, because they are two sides of the same coin. As I often say, they're both reaction to mistreatment, just the opposite ones. I mean, anger is the outwardly facing one. Oh, you mistreated me, now I want to hurt you. And and sadness is the inwardly facing, soothing one. Like, oh, I was mistreated. It's, you see. So the whole dream state basically is constructed over the years by suppressing and rejecting our reaction to being mistreated.
Okay.
Or for some people, our reactions to mistreating others, if they're taught to mistreat others, but fundamentally it's the same. Because in mistreating others, we mistreat ourselves.
So I feel like, I feel like I'm making a lot of progress with this, my spiritual journey, and but still this feels so fundamental, and it feels like the core of what I need to touch, like, so yeah, it's
Yes.
an uncomfortable feeling, and it always urges me to distract myself.
Yeah. So that's something that you want to reverse. Every time you notice yourself distracting from it, look at it instead.
Yeah, makes sense.
And we can do it together. I mean, you can schedule one-on-one with me, and we can
Yeah,
we can try to explore it together.
Yeah, that sounds good. I might do that. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. But don't run away from it. I mean, nothing that you are not willing to look at can be transcended and healed. So look at it. You have already seen that it's totally safe. It's just a matter of reversing. So actually, the noticing how you automatically look away is much more important than trying to shut up the mind. So don't try to shut up the mind, because the mind might be talking about something that actually is connected to it. You could even say that the wish to shut up the mind is connected to looking away from it, because the mind might start talking about something, whether as a memory or as an anxiety about the future, that is connected to this tightness, and that would eventually bring it up. Right? So it might even be helpful in some way, for as long as you're not looking away from it, but looking directly into it. It might even be helpful in some way to let the mind speak freely.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it would be better than to try to shut it off, because the mind is like, if you push it down, it will explode. Anyway.
Yeah, so it will come back. It will come back sooner or later. So there's no reason to try to push it down.
And yeah. Oh, and then one other thing is, anyway, this manifests in the body, and I realize when I meditate, then my body is very unstill sometimes. So just coming back to that stillness, or trying to become still in a way.
When you say my body is unstill, are you talking about some specific movements that your hands do, or your what do you mean specifically when you say my body is unstill? Like, are you trying to?
I just know that experience that I can sit and be still and be totally cool with it, but other times, I guess body and mind is like kind of connected, but I especially feel it in the hip. There's this muscle called psoas, and I heard that when that one is tight, then it's like the muscle that gets tight when you feel fear, for example. And then I get a restless legs, so I struggle with that.
Okay, can you guess what my response would be?
No, I don't know.
I just give you the same response about the mind.
Just let it do its thing. Of
course. Don't try to So the first thing that you said is that I was trying to still the mind. Now you say I'm trying to still the body. Don't try to. Stop trying. You see?
Okay.
And then again, in the same vein, about what is most important. The only thing that is important is not to distract yourself from something that you need to feel. Something is in your consciousness, in your mind, in your body, is coming up, and it wants to be felt, and it wants your love, and it wants your embrace.
Although one time, but this only happened one time, so there's no point.
Can you hold this thought, because
Yes.
I want to finish. So in the same vein, the most important reversal is the reversal of the tendency to look away. So with the body not being still, is the same thing. It's the same principle. If you notice, if you acknowledge that the body is being restless, and it provides you a sense of distraction, like, for example, something is coming up in your chest, some tension is coming up in your chest, and you start like waving your hands, or like you start being very restless in order to distract yourself, take your attention from something that's coming up in your chest into the sensations of the body, which you create by jittering, for example. Then yes, then stop doing that. But oftentimes, and most of the time, I'm sure, it's not that. It's the body starts moving or jittering or jerking, or at the same time as something is coming up. So it's not a distraction. You're not using bodily movement to distract yourself from feeling something, but more as an expression of it, or involuntarily movements. And if that's the case, just like when the mind is expressing your suffering, you don't want to stop it. You want to let it happen.
Yeah, because that's the point with the restless legs, that once you start relaxing, then this is happening. So
Yeah.
it's a good thing because you're
Exactly.
relaxed. But
Precisely. Yeah.
at the same time, it's really uncomfortable feeling, because there's a lot of like emotions coming up when
Yep.
this happens. Like
Yeah.
some nights are really difficult when
Yeah.
I have this. So
Yeah. And that's
but
good. And that's
yeah.
good. It's a sign that you're moving into the right direction.
Okay. One time it happened, what I was saying before, one time it happened, I was meditating, and wow, my mind was going crazy, and I had restless leg also, so it was impossible to sit, but still I wanted to do this so badly. And within one moment, my mind just went like equanimous, and my leg just was started like super cool. And then
Beautiful.
yeah.
It'll happen again many times. It'll happen more and more often. One thing that I would like to note is that if it feels difficult or uncomfortable to sit, you can also meditate lying down. So you can.
I've been leveling up my kindness towards myself, so
Yes, please.
So that's also an option. I know.
It's all about letting.
Yeah. There's no point in forcing.
That's right. There's no point. Don't try to force anything, but let everything.
Yeah. Yeah. True. Yeah, so I'll stay with this.
Yeah.
As much as possible.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
It was good talking to you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you for the conversation. Bye-bye.
Okay, so we have Alfred, and after that, I'm going to wrap it up. Hi, Alfred.
Hi, Artem. Do you need to pee?
I do. A lot.
Do you want to go or
no?
Okay. Sorry for reminding you.
Because it's gonna take like 5 minutes, so I'll go through it, and then I'll
appreciate it. So I'll be brief. I read one of your answers about monogamy, in which you were describing an enlightened relationship, where how rare this would be, but how monogamy.
Really say that?
Sorry?
Do I really say that? Do I say that like
Oh.
if the world was enlightened, monogamy would be very rare?
No, sorry. That was confusing. I think you say that an enlightened relationship where both people are enlightened.
Oh, how rare! Yeah.
Rare today.
Yeah, of course, because it would need two people. Yeah.
You would need to, right? And so, and that I think the question was something like, what role would monogamy play? And you were saying, oh, well, it's quite simply, two enlightened people, if they wanted to be together, they would be together for as long as they wanted to be together. And if they didn't, they would part peacefully. So I've been thinking about this in respect to my relationship. And so in a relationship, but I recently went to a dance and I felt very attracted to someone at the dance. And so it brought up a lot of questions around being in the relationship, because, kind of just going off the previous discussion in terms of letting things, I feel like it feels very natural. I want to spend time with that person, but it's not allowed in the relationship. So, simple logic would lead me to then think, oh, well, therefore I can't be in the relationship if I'm being cold in that way. But I guess I'm always wondering, like, is that draw to that other person, that attraction, is that deceiving me somehow, or am I deceiving myself about that? If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Okay, so I'll say a couple of things about it. So it's perfectly natural to be attracted to different people, including to be sexually attracted to different people. I'm pretty sure that the problem here, the kind of I'm not allowed in the relationship part here, is the sexual attraction, because there's jealousy on the part of another person, on the part of your partner. So she's afraid to lose you, right? And that's all it is, really. Generally speaking, right? So if we kind of remove some practical considerations such as STDs, then kind of forbidding your partner to explore sexual attraction to someone else, generally speaking, comes from the fear of loss, fear of losing a relationship. Now, it's also quite natural to be attracted to multiple people in a non-sexual way, right? But I'm pretty sure that's not the core of the problem here. Like, if this person was a guy, she probably wouldn't have a problem with that. But you could, in a non-sexual way, like, you could feel exactly the same thing. So I want to spend time with this person. I like him very much. I enjoy, like, there's some level of intimacy and attraction that is not sexual. But I suppose, and I assume, and you correct me if I'm wrong, that there's a big sexual component to it. So we are not, by nature, we're not monogamous species. We are somewhere. My understanding is that we're somewhere like in between bonobos, and who are like super promiscuous, and other apes like chimps and gorillas who are very much hierarchical. So but we are not monogamous by nature. So it's completely natural to have physical attraction. If we lived, but having said that, oftentimes the value of an intimate, deep relationship that you have with somebody else, a partnership, basically a life partnership, completely overshadows the pleasure of having multiple sexual relationships. If we lived in a truly enlightened society where everybody was free and our engagement with each other was not predicated also in a large way on wounds and search for security and fear and emotional codependency, then I think you would see a tremendously diverse array of how people organize their lives, and you would see actually a lot of relationships where people would not be exclusively committed to each other sexually and maybe have some sexual adventure from time to time on the side, and it would not create misery and jealousy and grief, because there would also be a deep unspoken understanding that the relationship, the partnership, is actually much more valuable and important than a sexual adventure or a sexual attraction. But we don't live in a society like that, unfortunately. So we live in a completely different society. So oftentimes you have to choose. You kind of have to choose because you cannot have it both. Like if we really lived in a enlightened society, and it's very possible that you could have it both ways. That you could have that many people would be able to have it both ways. That we could have long, real, intimate, close, long-term relationships and some fun from time to time. I mean, strictly speaking, it doesn't diminish one another. But we don't live in a society like that, and you have to contend with that. I mean, Osho once said, you can either be monogamous or you can be a free lover. Otherwise, you'll go crazy. And I kind of agree with that because it's very difficult in society. In our society, it's very difficult to manage without being deceitful and without hurting a lot of people. So I personally choose to be monogamous because to me, well, first, I personally had a lot of sex. Like before my monogamous relationship, I had a lot of different sexual adventures, and compared to an intimate, deep, intimate, loving, truly loving relationships, they were all very dissatisfactory. And so to me, it's a very easy choice. Even if I'm attracted to somebody sexually, it's very easy for me to forego that because I understand the value of a deeply loving relationship. A deeply loving relationship has an element of deep intimacy to it. It takes time to develop. There's trust in it. There's commitment in it. There's mutual care for it. There's security in it. And again, I mean, you may say that in a completely enlightened society, that wouldn't be needed because people would care for each other. But we don't live in this society. You see, my wife is my best friend. Most people who I would meet, and including the people that I might want to have some sexual adventures with, would actually not care much about me to the extent that if I, for example, fell sick, they would care for me. That is worth a lot, you see. And the overall system would care for me being able to pay for the doctors. That's the only way they would care for. The true love goes well beyond sex. I mean, that's why even in our culture, however sick it is, we oftentimes hear that family is the most important thing, because family is the closest thing that we get to love in our society. So if it is deceiving then it is deceiving, I'm sure, in this sense. Then it is deceiving in the sense of appearing to be more pleasurable than continuing to develop intimacy and love and mutual care with your partner. On the other hand, I don't think it's the case, but I have to say it for other people who are watching. You might be a free lover at heart, and you're only in a monogamous relationship because society told you that this is how you should be, right? So you can live your life as a free lover, but you probably will not then develop a really deep connection, a really deep love. Neither of the paths, of those two paths, are incompatible with enlightenment. So that just depends on your personality, on what you want, and how you choose to adapt to the structure of the relationship that we have in this world. And in this world, people pair up, and there are some rare people who have open relationships, but they usually have their own challenges. And if both partners are emotionally mature enough in order to allow each other some sexual adventures from time to time to satisfy our innate non-monogamous drive, but still be committed to each other and committed to each other's to intimately know and understand and care for each other in the most intimate way, that it could be rewarding, but it's actually quite difficult to find. So to me personally, it's a very easy choice. I mean, I've had my adventures. I always yearned for love rather than sex. So for me, as it is for a lot of people, especially men, and that's what the ego always is confused about. So for me, in a lot of ways, sex was a replacement for love. So pursuing sex is how I actually pursued love. To me, it was it's rather simple to choose love and intimacy over sexual adventure. But I cannot tell you what to do.
Thank you. Very clear.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you for coming. All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming. That was a wonderful meeting. I will see you all next time, please, in a couple of weeks. Oh, actually, yeah. I think it's going. Yeah. September 28th is going to be the next satsang. And once again, please come to my Discord server. Schedule meetings, Master Teacher. Thank you. You're welcome. schedule meetings with me. Come visit me in person if you can. Come to my retreats. Please continue to meditate. Best of luck to you on the spiritual journey. Best of luck to you on accepting yourself deeper and deeper, learning to love yourself, loving others, flowering in this life, pursuing your goals, learning to enjoy it more and more on the path to the ultimate contentment, joy, peace, and equanimity. Best of luck. Best of luck to you. Bye. Love you all.